Long suffering and temperance, escape Babylon and be safe during pestilence. All praises to Yahweh, his almighty excellence. What you know about
Christopher Nolan, right? The Most High God is the best director, screenwriter, producer, right? That's why they call it a theater, because they're in there trying to play Theos, trying to play God, right? Keep going. Hey, look into that flyer, little bro. Black people, the true Jews of the Bible, the real Israelites. Black people, the true Jews of the Bible, the real Israelites. That's your pops or your brothers? That's your brother? Lame as hell. Yeah, Puerto Rican ass, bro. That's what Kyrie got in trouble for, right? So you ain't never heard Jesus Christ was a black man? You heard it before, right? Most people have heard that before, right? But you gotta look at it like this, right? If Jesus Christ was black and he was a Jew, what do that mean about the rest of his people? Must have been black people as well, right? That's what we're out here preaching. We're preaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We all descend from one man named Israel, right? He had 12 children, and that's where you get all these different people from, right? You got Jamaicans, you got Haitians, you got African Americans, right? But you also got Native Americans. You got
myself.
You Native American? Yeah. On your pop side? Your mom's side? What's your pop? Right. But what was he, a black man, African American? Yeah. Right. So in the Bible, your mom is an Israelite too. She would be from the tribe of Gad. That's what we call the Native Americans, right? But your dad in the Bible, it all goes off your pops, right? So whatever your pops is, that's what you are, right? So you would be from the tribe of Judah, the same tribe that Jesus Christ was from. Shalom, brother. The same tribe that Jesus Christ was from, right? Jesus Christ is your long lost cousin,
big brother,
right? Big brother, right? So again, you got to ask ourselves, right? Who are the people calling themselves Jews today? Or do they look like us? Do they look like this, don't they? Right? Doesn't the people right now in Israel having a war against the Palestinians, right? The Jewish people who call themselves the real Israel, right? But we know that those are white people. We know Jesus Christ has skin of bronze and hair of wool. Have y'all ever read that in the Bible? What Jesus Christ looked like?
The Bible in my house.
That's good. That's good. You got to start reading it though. Because guess what? Even if you have a Bible, even if you go to church, right? The church ain't going to get Acts 13:1. The church ain't going to read these things to you. They're not going to tell you, you guys are God's chosen people. You need to return to him. Because guess what? The church gets your money. And guess what people don't like to do? Follow orders. But guess what the Bible is? It's a whole book of orders that we have to follow. So guess what? If the church starts telling us, hey, I'm sorry, people, you can't eat pork anymore, right? We have a dietary law, right? God says we can't eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, right? There's certain things that we're allowed to eat and certain things that we're not allowed to eat. So guess what? Next time you go up in that church, imagine if they told our whole congregation, we're going to start enforcing these strict rules. Are there going to be any more people there to give them money? Nah. So guess what? They're not going to teach you the truth of the Bible. But watch this, Acts 13:1. We're going to see how the prophets of the Lord are called in the New Testament. This is New Testament we're about to read to you. And I promise you, you have never heard about this verse in the Bible, and I promise you no other pastor, preacher, you will never see this verse again unless it's from, people who are trying to tell you the truth of the Bible, right? Bring that out.
So we already just brought out that Jesus Christ would be, considered a Jew. He'd be an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. And the Jews was called a certain word. It's kind of viewed as a slur word that we call, it's called each other now. You know what I'm saying? We'll see if you can identify with it. It's 2,000 years ago, right? This is the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon that was called nigger.
That was called what?
Nigger.
That's in the Bible?
Sir.
Show it to him. Show him that that's what the prophets of God were called in the Bible.
Right, spell. So back then, of course, it was spelled N-I-G-E-R, right? But through like the word, word changes and phonetics, you know what I'm saying? English, or they added an extra G to it, but the word stays the same, right?
Watch this. That's King James, right? That's in Old English. We're gonna get a newer translation, the NLT, right? It says, among the prophets and teachers of the church at Antioch in Syria were Barnabas, Simeon, called what? What that say?
Black.
The black man.
Not a black.
That shows you that that word literally means a black man, right? So again, if we read that Jesus Christ is a black man, if we read that the prophets of God in the New Testament are black people, right? We can only be led to assume that the tribe of Israel were melanated people, right? But we also have descriptions, because again, that's just talking about the Jews, right? There was a split in these 12 tribes to where it became a northern and a southern, right? We were split against each other. We kind of see that today, right? Here in Chicago, there's a split between blacks and between Hispanics, right? There's an evil eye that we kind of look at ourselves of. But when you read the Bible, the same thing happened to us back in Jerusalem, back when we was together, right? We had an evil eye towards each other, right? But now it's time for us to bring all these people back together. Imagine if all these people on this chart, right, joined hand in hand and we all worship the same God. Imagine how scary that would be for all the nations. Because look, if you look at every person on this sign has gone through slavery, has gone through oppression, lives in poverty, right? You don't see Asian people on here. You don't see Arab people on here. You don't see white people on here, right? Because those aren't God's chosen people. Those aren't the people who are going through the curses that God said his chosen people will go through. Real quick, let's get some curses, right? Would you believe it if I told you that the transatlantic slave trade is prophesied in the Bible? It's been there this whole time, right? But guess what?
Round or flat?
I would say,
Flat.
I wouldn't say flat, because flat means like this. It's
I would say the earth, when you look, the earth is like it's covered with, it's covered inside of what's known as like, we say a dome. It's really called a firmament, right? A firmament is like a dome that engulfs the earth, right? So we stand on a flat surface, but it's engulfed in like a circular sphere, you know what I'm saying? Like a half circle, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Even if like you're flying or whatnot, I don't know if you're flying, if you're flying or an airplane, right? If you actually look up, if you're high enough, you can see the earth is pretty much, how it's engulfed in something, the sky's engulfed in like a circle, you know what I'm saying? So it's more so we stand on a flat surface, but we're engulfed in like a dome. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
get 68, right? Let's get the transatlantic slave trade, right? So again, or start at 15 actually, right? So the whole premise of this Bible, how it starts off with, right? Y'all guys ever heard of Moses? Moses in the Bible, right? Do you know what he did in the Bible that was so powerful? Right? What? He did spread the water, but why did he do that? What was he doing?
I think he was saving the animals or something.
He was saving people, right? Not you talking about Noah. Noah was saving the animals, right? Moses, and it's never really taught this way because it'd be too powerful if they taught us this, right? But Moses, right? He was a Hebrew in Egypt, right? You ever seen Prince of Egypt? Right?
Like the little pyramids.
Exactly, right? So he was a Hebrew in Egypt, right? He got sailed down the river and Pharaoh, he got into Pharaoh's house, right? So there was a bunch of Egyptians that accepted Moses as one of them. But Moses' people, the Hebrews, the Egyptians had them in slavery, right? So one day, Moses is cool with the Egyptians. He's in the temple with Pharaoh. He's cool with these Egyptians, right? But he sees an Egyptian whipping on a Hebrew slave, and that gets him mad, and he kills that Egyptian slave master. That's when he goes on a run. And if you ever heard about the burning bush, Moses in the burning bush, that's when God appears to him in a burning bush and says, guess what? I'm gonna raise you up as a savior, and you're gonna save your people from this slavery. That's what Moses did. He led a slave rebellion. Let my people go, right? He was telling the Egyptians, right, we're tired of this. God is gonna save us from this. And that's what the whole Exodus, you ever heard of the Exodus or the Passover? That's what that story is in the Bible, right? After that, after they get saved from that Egyptian slavery, you ever heard that they wandered around the wilderness for 40 years? Right? That's a narrative in the Bible. After we get out of Egypt, we're wandering around the wilderness. This is the covenant that we entered in the wilderness. You ever heard of the commandments of Moses? Right? You ain't never seen the movie. Moses goes up into the mountain, he gets the commandments, he comes down, he breaks them, all the Israelites are partying, right? This is what that's talking about. Keep going. We're going to explain it, right? This is a covenant. When you hear Old Covenant or Old Testament, all that means is contract. We're talking about the old contract that our ancestors entered into with God. So let's read what that contract said.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 15.
So start at 1 and then drop to 15.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. And it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set you on high above all nations of the earth.
Right, so that's the first part of the contract. He gave us law, statutes, and commandments, right? If we listen to his law, statutes, and commandments, we get a long list of blessings, right? This chapter, Deuteronomy 28, from verse 1 to 14, is just blessings that God has for us if we listen to him. Let's read the other side of that contract. Start at 15.
Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if you will not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you.
Right? So then he said, but if you break one of my laws, statutes, or commandments, you're going to be a cursed people. Right? Now let me ask you, would you say blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, are we a cursed people? Do we go through generational curses that we just can't seem to escape? Even though we're good people, even though we love people, right? It just so we just been getting the bad end of the stick for 500, 600 plus years, right? It would seem like we're a cursed people. This explains all of that, right? Keep get on that seat further. Should be like 40. Yeah.
Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till you be destroyed.
Again, generational curses, right? They're meant to destroy us because we disobey God, right? Keep going.
Because you hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord your God.
We don't listen.
To keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you.
Keep going.
And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever.
Right. He said that they shall be upon you for a sign, right? That's very important, because when you're driving down the street and you see that the yellow arches, right? What that is for you? What that tell you that is? The yellow arches. That's McDonald's, right? That's a McDonald's sign.
Oh.
You know that's McDonald's because you see the sign with the yellow arches, right? God said the same way, when you see these curses on these people, that's going to be a sign that says these are the Israelites. These are God's chosen people, the people who are going through these curses. Now let's read some of these curses, right? Do 68. Because again, we got to ask. Take out what I said earlier, right? Take out in your head the Israelites are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? We're going to read this, and you just tell me who did this apply to, right? Keep going. 68.
This book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Right. What did I just tell you the Hebrews were doing in Egypt that they had to be saved from? Slavery. God said he gonna put you back into Egypt again, right? Keep going.
With ships.
This time with ships. That's very important because Moses walked into Egypt, he walked out of Egypt. You don't need a ship to go from Egypt to Israel. They're on the same tectonic plate, right? God said this time we're going into Egypt on ships, right? That's very important. And actually get that in Revelations, right? Spiritual Egypt. And just hold that, right? Because we're gonna explain why he called America Egypt. And it's gonna make a lot of sense for y'all. Get that in Revelation.
Revelation 11 verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
Right, the Israelites, our dead bodies are going to lie in the street of a great city.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
This great city that our bodies are going to lie dead in is going to be spiritually like Sodom and Egypt, right? Let's start with Sodom. Do you know the story of Sodom in the Bible? Sodom and Gomorrah? You ain't never heard Sodom and Gomorrah? If you read in the book of Genesis, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is basically, you know, I don't want to get too explicit, but angels come down to visit a man named Abraham, right? And in the town that he lives, that town of Sodom and Gomorrah, the men there were gay, and they tried to have interactions with the angels, and God got mad at them. So he burned them with fire because of that iniquity, because they were gay and they were trying to have sex with the angels, right? God does not like that, right? He said that we, his chosen people, are going to lie dead in the streets of a great city, which is going to spiritually be like Sodom, right? What great city on earth today promotes homosexuality and that agenda? Would you not say America is a great city, right? America, right? And then it said what? The spirit of Sodom and what?
And Egypt.
And Egypt. What did I just tell you the Egyptians was known for? Slavery, right?
Oh, yeah, slavery.
So the great city where our dead bodies will lie spiritually is going to have a lot of homosexuality and a lot of slavery. What's that talking about? Is there any other place that we could name? Or does it have to be America? It has to, because guess what? America is also where we all are, right? You find all 12 tribes here, right? Y'all got brought here through the transatlantic slave trade, right? The west coast of Africa, even going into that, right? They knew that they were Jews. You can look up old maps where that west coast of Africa is called the Kingdom of Judah, because y'all knew who y'all were before y'all got, put on ships and got detached from y'all history, right? But go back to 68, right? That's just to explain to you that Egypt is talking about in 68, that is America, right? So God said that we will go back to slavery on ships. Keep going. Start from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto you. You shall see it no more again.
That Egypt that you just left, that's not what I'm talking about. You won't see that again.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
God said that when we get off those slave ships, that we will be bought, right? We will be sold and bought for slave man and for slave woman, right? But did you catch who he said we will be sold to? Read that again. I want them to hear, who are we sold to? Who did God say we were sold to?
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
So again, who were we sold to, right? Who were blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans when they were on those slave auction blocks? Who was buying them? Why? What did God just call white people? He said our enemies, right? He called them our enemies, right? Imagine if our ancestors knew that was in the Bible. Imagine if our ancestors knew, oh, the people who buy us, the people who put us into slavery, those are our enemies, right? Imagine how powerful that would have been for the slaves to have known that. But we didn't know that. We were taught Christianity. We were taught about this guy, right? Who goes around giving out hugs and kisses and loves everybody, right? This ain't the Messiah. The Bible does not speak about this man. It speaks about a man who looks like this, who's coming back on a mission to save his people, right? If Jesus Christ is related to all these people on this sign, right? And you know the history of what happened to all these people on the sign, would you not think that Jesus Christ will be mad about the things that they've done to his people? Right? He's coming back not to give out hugs and kisses, right? He's coming back to save his people, right? And to give out a judgment on all the people who have done anything against his people, right? Get the evil eye real quick. I'm gonna leave y'all with another a curse just to bring you all home together. But if y'all could, man, go home, start studying y'all Bible. I know you said you have a Bible at the crib. Just bust it open, just read it, right? Read it for yourself. Don't let someone else teach you. Don't go to a church and ask them, what does this mean? Because again, they're not gonna explain it to you like this, right? You gotta do it for yourself, and God will give you the spirit and the understanding, right? You just gotta pray for it. Bring it up.
Deuteronomy 28:54.
This is, again, another curse that is on this people, right?
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
Right, that's a curse, right? He said that we used to be tender and delicate towards each other, right? We used to be all friendly. We used to love each other, right? Brotherly love amongst the 12 tribes. He said that a curse, as soon as we start breaking his laws, we gonna have an evil eye towards our brother, right? What does that sound like to y'all? An evil eye towards your brother. It's something that they call here in America, that they love to use against us. Yeah, but not that, right? An evil eye towards your brother is something here in America that they call black on black crime. They love saying black on black crime, brown on brown crime, right? It's black on brown crime, right here in Chicago, right? So again, who are the people who went through that? Have you ever heard of Jewish on Jewish crime, white on white crime, Arab on Arab crime? No, right? Because they're not the people who are under the covenant and under the curses. Only God's chosen people would have that curse on them. Keep going, because it gets a little more specific. Keep going. That's just one part of the curse, right? Evil eye towards your brother.
His eye shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom.
Now he's got an evil eye towards his wife, right? What does that sound like to you that our communities deal with when the husband has an evil eye towards his wife? Adultery could go into it, right? But I mean, that would be an evil eye, right? But it's something else, right? Domestic violence that happens in our communities, right? Why does that happen? Why is that so prevalent among us, right? The white man got his wife on a leash, right? She don't talk back to him. She knows her place. But us, we're going through a curse where we fight with our wives, right? We can't get that same type of respect from our wives, right? And it causes that evil eye. right? But again, all this stems from us breaking laws, right? Get the last part. It gets a little more specific after that. Start.
Not just that, but also, you know what I'm saying, divorce rates are high amongst our people, you know what I'm saying? We the main people that, you know, us and our women, we always have issues towards each other, and it always ends up with us breaking up and shit, you know what I'm saying? And it also leads into this right here.
Can I ask y'all a question?
What's good, bro?
When y'all do this and stuff, do y'all have hatred?
Yeah.
I mean, definitely it comes up. It comes up. We're not out here telling y'all to hate people, but when you start reading about the things, your history, it's kind of hard not to. It's kind of hard not to have feelings and emotions towards it, right? So again, I know the Black Hebrew Israelites, if you do see anything on YouTube or anything like that, we're painted as a hate group, that we're just out here yelling at white people. Have we yelled at any white people since y'all been here? No, we just been talking to you. This is how we interact. But again, that's how the white man wants to portray us, right? He doesn't want you guys to stop and listen to what we're actually saying. He just wants y'all to think, oh, those are just the crazy Hebrew Israelites. They're just yelling on the corner. Let's not even listen to them, right? But that's definitely not what we on. We're not pushing hatred. We pushing unity, right? We want these people to come together, right? And we want these people to start keeping the laws of God. It's crazy how we're villainized for that, but it just shows you how America is run, right? America will villainize the good people and will make heroes out of the villains, right? But keep going on that, right? Start from the top and then get to that last part.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
Right, evil eye towards your brother.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
Evil eye towards your wife.
And toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Now it's a curse that the husband will leave his children. What does that sound like? Single parent households. Who does that affect here in America? Does it affect everybody? Do Arabs go through this? Do Chinese people go through this? Single parent households. Do white people go through this?
You ever heard of a strong, independent white woman? Hell no.
They don't even talk like that, right? But guess what? God said that this happens to his chosen people. And it just so happens that all the people on this sign are the people who are going through the curses that God's chosen people go through. So again, we got to start asking ourselves, right? If this is really us, if this is our ancestors in the Bible, if our ancestors made a blood covenant with the Lord, and the Lord gave us a set of rules and commandments, right? It's only 613. I know that sounds like a lot, but think about how many laws they have in America and how many times you're not in prison because you're not breaking one of them laws, right? Think how easier it is for you to just keep God's laws instead of America's laws, because some of America's laws don't make sense. You know, it's illegal in America to collect rainwater. You could go to jail or be fined for collecting rainwater, water that falls from the sky. That is a law in America, but guess what? People follow that law. But if God tells you, hey, it's unclean for you to eat pork because the pork doesn't have sweat glands and it's not able to sweat and it doesn't chew the cud, so it can't digest its food and it's better for you, and I want you guys to live long lives, we don't care about that. We still eat the pork, right? We'd rather break God's laws and follow the white man's laws than actually just listen to God. And guess what? You following the white man's laws, that's not gonna get you nothing. But if you follow God's laws, there's blessings that come with this, right? There's unity that comes with this, right? We're able to rearrange our whole communities. And guess what? The Jewish man, he's taken a hold of this book and he started to live according to this book. And what did that get the Jewish community? In what place is the Jewish community in right now? They own everything. They own the entertainment business, the music business, the diamond district. They own everything, right? Why do they do that? Because they follow what God gave us. We don't care about this. We threw this out. And the white Jewish man just came up and he's like, oh, wow. Started reading it, started putting it into place. And now he's the richest nation on earth, right? When Israel is this big, right? But again, it's because this was supposed to be because, man, because the Bible prophesies how we're going to be saved out of this, right? The Bible says that God knows the end from the beginning. He's written this all out, right? So God has already written a happy ending for us, right? That's why we just have to wait on Jesus Christ, right? We got to wait patiently, keep the faith in the works, and wait on our big brother to come back, and he going to do all the heaven lifting for us, right? We going to get our kingdom, right? We going to be in the new covenant. We going to be keeping all these laws, statutes, and commandments flawlessly. We just got to wait on that, right? And then in the meantime, while we're waiting, we got to start keeping God's laws again. That's what the church did to us, right? The church told us, hey, guess what? The Old Testament is done away with. So now we think that we're not sinning anymore. when it's still in place, when we are still committing sin. Because guess what? We're still in these curses, no? We've been in these curses for hundreds of years. You read the Bible, Israel went into slavery after slavery after slavery. Jesus Christ, right? When he was walking the earth, his people, the Judeans, were occupied by the Romans. They had white people over them telling them what they have to do, right? The Jews had to go to the Romans to tell them, hey, can you guys kill Jesus for us? Because they weren't even allowed to operate independently, right? They were occupied by Romans, by white people, right? Just like in today's time. Are we allowed to govern ourselves? Are we governed by other people, by other nations, right? That's why God said in the last days, right? All the people who had his people in slavery, get that. Lead into captivity shall go into captivity. Right? All the people who had his people in slavery, it's their turn for that. Right? Y'all ever heard that before? In the kingdom of heaven, everyone who had you in slavery is going to be in slavery themselves. And that's called a righteous judgment from the Lord. I'll show you that right next, right?
Revelation 13 and 10.
This is Revelations. This is the last book of the Bible.
He that leadeth into captivity.
He that leadeth into captivity.
Shall go into captivity.
Needs to go into captivity. Keep going.
He that kills with the sword.
If you kill a nation of people with the sword, if you're a barbaric savage who just goes around conquering people,
must be killed with the sword.
Guess what? God has that same thing coming back to you. That's called karma, right? That's righteous retribution of the Lord, right? Get Isaiah 14 and 1. I told you in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have all these white people, Arab people, Chinese people who had you in slavery. It's their turn for that, right? And we're going to read that out the Bible, 14 and 1.
Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
Right? At the end of the day, he will have mercy on his chosen people, Jacob and Israel.
And will set them in their own land.
And guess what? We're going back to Jerusalem. That's our land, right? They fighting over it right now. We're going to get put back into that land, right?
And the strangers shall be joined with them, and shall cleave unto the house of Jacob.
Right. It's going to be us, all of us as family, but we're going to bring some strangers with us, right? People who aren't our family. Keep going.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right. And we're going to go back to Jerusalem.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
So in heaven, we're going to possess other people for servants and handmaids. Don't that sound like a heaven to y'all? Right? And it's weird because we think about like, damn, we used to be servants, right? That don't sound like a good thing. But guess what? God wanted that for us. It's just that we messed it up, right? We were supposed to have these other nations serving us, but we fucked up, and God said, you know what? I'm gonna play a trick on y'all. Now the people that were supposed to be serving you, now you gotta serve them, right? Imagine us being conquered by white people. They weak as hell. We stronger than white people. Why do you think that happened to us?
Long suffering and temperance, escape Babylon and be safe during pestilence. All praises to you.
All praises to the Most High God. In the name of His only begotten Son, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you listening and the support.